Hello, thanks for checking out this video. Welcome to my channel. My name is Chris and we are talking all about pond stuff here. This video is part 2 of a little 2-part video that I'm putting together. Part 1 was about what to expect after you build a pond, as far as what kind of maintenance does the pond require and what kind of money will I be spending in the future on this pond. So we look at that briefly, and part 2 here is about being a responsible pond owner. So what does that mean? Well, to me it means basically being proactively involved in your pond every day. Know what's going on with your pond, observe it, okay? Keep up with it, do regular maintenance with it. A pond is not something you're going to put in your backyard and never have to touch. All right, it's going to require some maintenance, and it's going to require you, the homeowner, to take care of it. All right, even if you go out and you buy yourself a brand new Lamborghini, you're still going to have to do oil changes. You still got to keep air in the tires, right? You still got to wash it and keep it clean. It's going to require some maintenance and some effort, and the pond does as well. All right, so this kind of video probably going to be a little means for me to vent on some of my frustrations sometimes in dealing with some pond owners that really care about their ponds but don't do a thing about it, and it's really frustrating. But anyway, so I want to influence you to be a proactive, responsible pond owner. All right, take care of your pond. It's something that you enjoy. It's something that you really like in your backyard. Take care of it. Going out there and spending some time, cleaning some leaves off of the flowers or feeding the fish or whatever should not be a chore. All right, but it's things that you need to do. I have people ask me quite often, and it blows my mind, like, do I have to feed my fish? Well, I mean, that should be the fun part. That should be part of the fun of owning the pond. It shouldn't be something that you dread doing, or because, you have to go buy fish food. If you're going to complain about having to go buy fish food, you shouldn't have built a pond. Okay? It's crazy sometimes things I get. I had a client just recently complain to me that I didn't tell them that their water level in the pond was low. Are you kidding? I don't live there. It's your pond. You can't look out the window and see that the water level in your pond is a little low and you should add some water? I shouldn't have to tell you that. It's like, it blows my mind, okay? Be a responsible pond owner. Go outside and look at your pond. I have many clients. I have a lot of clients, and believe me, I love my clients. Some of them are really, really great people. But then I have clients who, will look out the window and say, oh, waterfall stopped. Call Chris. Luckily for them, I come running, okay? But 9 times out of 10, I go to the house, and what do I got to do? Push a reset button on the GFI outlet. All right? Really? You can't figure that out yourself. You care so much about your pond and about your fish, but you can't go outside and see if the pump has power, if it's even running. All right? So this is what I mean. All right? Go outside. It's your pond. Go outside. See what's happening. Okay? It's usually something very simple. I get calls so many times. In fact, I'll probably even do another video on, why your pump stopped. Okay? But I get calls so many times saying, my pump stopped, or the water flow is slow. Okay? They're so concerned, but they do nothing about it. Just call me. It's your pond. You should know what's going on, okay? It's a water pump. It pulls in water here. It pumps water out there, okay? It's not a complicated device. If the pump is trying to pull water here and there's nothing coming out there, chances are it's not getting water in here. Okay? So maybe something's clogged. Let's look. Pull the pump out. Oh, look at that. The strainer, the screen in front is all clogged with stuff. Got to clean it out. External pump, the little pump trap, the basket in the front. Open the lid, and inside the basket, it's all clogged. You know how many times I do that too? My pump's not working. I go to the house, pump's running, it's vibrating, you can hear it humming. There's no water coming out the other end. I open the lid, pull out the trap, and it's got a bunch of garbage in it. I clean it out, wash it out, put it back in, turn it on, it's beautiful, pump's just fine. I just drove a half hour, 40 minutes out of my way to clean that little trap for someone. Right? It's only gonna make your lives better if you become a little more proactive, all right? You should own a net. You should own a net. If you have a pond, you should own a net. You should have a little net to scoop and clean leaves and debris out of your pond. I'm not saying you have to do it every day, right? But every once in a while you go out to the pond. Maybe you had a thunderstorm the night before and there's some leaves and branch or something in the pond. You should be able to clean it out. You got to clean it out, okay? You should own a test kit. Definitely own a test kit. The thing with the test kit is you're being proactive to what could be a major problem in the future, all right? If you test your water periodically, I'm not saying you have to do it every day. You might do it once a week. You might do it once every 2 weeks, would be better than nothing, all right? But if you start to see a water parameter, ammonia, nitrites, nitrates, pH, rise and get higher and become dangerous to your fish, well, you can start taking care of that before it becomes a major issue and your fish are dying. I cannot believe when I'm in, a pond store and people come in with a jar of water and have the pond place test their water because their fish are dying. You know what? My car just ran out of gas. I'm stuck on the highway. It's too late. You never looked at the needle, the empty full gauge in your car? Maybe if you looked and saw it was getting empty, you'd know you'd have to take care of it. Okay? Well, that's what a test kit does. It tests your water before you're out of gas and you have a problem. All right? Same kind of thing. So own a test kit. Test your water once in a while. Once your fish are all dying and you bring that jar of water into the pond store, it's too late. The damage is done. All right. At that point, you're only looking to maybe save whatever fish that aren't dead yet. All right. Another thing, if you have city water, okay, you should own dechlorinator. You gotta have dechlorinator. City water contains chlorine and chloramines, which is very toxic to your fish. If you're adding a lot of water into your pond, you're doing a water change or whatever, you don't have dechlorinator, you can kill all your fish. All right? You should have dechlorinator. All right? Now, here's another thing. Just an example, a suggestion, I should say. Own a second pump for backup. All right? Hardly anyone ever does that until their pump dies, and then there's a major issue getting a new one. Okay? Whatever kind of pump you have, whether it's a sump pump and a skimmer, it's a submersible pump down the bottom of your pond, and next to an external pump, whatever it is, you should have an identical duplicate backup. Okay? Reason being, if that one pump should fail, now, you don't know. The pump might last you 10 years. It might have a problem after a year and a half. We don't know, okay? If the pump goes bad and you need to replace it and you don't have a backup, you never know what you may face trying to get a new one, all right? Oh, that company is no longer making pumps. Oh, my local store is not carrying that anymore. Oh, I have to order it online. It's out of stock. Here's another issue that we've faced a lot in the last couple years after the pandemic. There is a supply issue with parts. Okay, I go to get a pump serviced. It needs bearings, it needs a seal, maybe it needs a new motor. I can't get the parts. I gotta wait 3 months for a part. Well, if your pump goes down in June, you're not gonna wait till October to get the parts to get your pump fixed. All right, you got to get that pond running like tomorrow. All right, so if you have a spare extra pump, all you got to do is take that one out and put the new one on, and within 15 minutes you're back up and running. All right. The other thing is, maybe that pump dies, you need a new one. You go to the store, they don't carry that anymore, but they have something similar. Okay. You get it home, and then you find out that the fittings are all different, and that pump won't fit on the same pipe and the fittings that you have the old one. And then you got to redo plumbing and redo. Not the end of the world, but an added headache. Whereas you can just say, boom, here's a new pump, I'm in. All right. Another thing is with these pumps, over the last few years, the prices have been going up and up and up. Again, after the pandemic, a lot of these pump prices have gone crazy. All right. Just speculating. If I buy a spare pump today, whatever it is, whatever, $500 for a spare pump today, you know what? Maybe in 3 years from now, if I need to replace that pump and I didn't buy a spare, well, maybe that pump, instead of being $500, might be $650. I mean, you don't know. Okay, I'm just saying. All right, so have a spare pump. It's a great idea. While we're on the subject of pumps and ponds running and all that kind of stuff, an air system. You should have an air system. Every pond I build has an air system in it. Okay. Very, very important. Now I use those air systems all winter because I shut my ponds down for the winter. So we keep the aeration going in the pond. But aeration is also a great thing to have all year round, all right? Even if it's not running, if you don't use it running all summer, that's fine. But to have it in case if there's ever something where your pump does stop or there's some problem with the pond, we can put the air system in the pond and your fish will have oxygen. If the fish don't have oxygen in the summer, they will die. Warm water holds less saturated oxygen than cold water. So on hot days in the summer, if you don't have a waterfall going, if you don't have aeration going in that pond, you can start losing fish quickly. All right, so an air system is extremely important to have in your pond. Now, I don't mean the little, as I get this too, people skimp on the crap they buy for their pond. Yeah, I went to Petco and I bought a little, air pump for an aquarium. So they come home with this little air pump that's not even outdoor waterproof, right? It's meant to be in your house for a little goldfish tank. The little thing with a little tiny tube off of it and a little air stone about that big, and it goes boop, 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 boop. That's not going to aerate your pond, all right? We need an air pump. We need a boil on the surface. We want water. We want that air pump to be moving water and aerating that pond. Again, don't skimp on the air pump. If you skimp on the air pump, you might as well not even have it, all right? Get yourself a nice system that creates a good boil on the surface. Now, the other thing is, again, along these same lines of having, a backup pump, an air system. Third thing here right now is maybe a generator. All right, I can't tell you how many times over the years we've had bad thunderstorms. The power's gone out at people's houses, and the ponds stop. And the fish are dying because there's no air, there's no oxygenation in the pond. All right, so a generator of some sort to keep your pond running. If the power goes out, we don't need a big massive generator, okay, to run all your pumps and UV lights and everything. All we need to do is keep that air pump running. All right, if we can keep an air pump running, it will save your fish, okay? Totally save your fish. So, I mean, even just a little generator, a little gas generator that you can plug, maybe plug a little pump into, but plug that air system into and you'll be safe. All right, so that's definitely something to do to keep your pond safe. Yeah, all right. So these are really some suggestions for you, and getting back to pumps and having, a spare pump, an extra pump. Sometimes when I build a pond, if it's a large pond and I'm moving a lot of water, rather than having one big pump on the pond, I'll put in two smaller ones. And the advantage of that is if one should have a problem, the other one's still going, right? So I never lose, my entire pond filtration and circulating system altogether if my one pump goes out. I have two running at the same time. Okay, so one goes out, the other one's still running. I'd rather have half a filter system running than nothing. Okay, yeah, I mean, stuff like that are just some really good tips as to being a proactive and responsible pond owner. Go out to your pond every day. It should be a fun thing. It should be something you enjoy. Go out and feed those fish, all right? Look at what's going on in your pond. Is your water level low? All right? Is testing your water, okay? Is your water safe? Just because your water is clear doesn't mean it's safe. And make sure things are running properly. Have that knowledge of how your system works. Even if you didn't build your own pond, ask the contractor who put it in for you. Ask the shop where you bought all the materials from to explain to you how it works. Right? Having that basic knowledge of how it works will help you to be proactive if a problem should arise. All right. I can't tell you how many times I get phone calls that are like, do you fix leaks in ponds? Yeah, what's going on? Well, I'm losing 6 to 8 inches of water in my pond every day. Okay. Well, that's good. It's good in the respect that losing a lot of water quickly means there's a big hole. A big problem. That's a lot easier to find than a little pinhole where you're losing a 1/4 inch a day. Okay, so when I hear something, yeah, I'm losing 6-8 inches overnight, and like, oh, okay, awesome, okay, that's good. All right, in my mind, I'm thinking that's good. That's got to be something big that I can find fairly easily. I can't tell you how many times I go to people's houses that, have a leak, and I go there and I'm not there for 2 minutes. All right. I mean, all right, I'm a professional pond builder. I get it. I probably know a little more than an average homeowner. But it takes me, I'm going to say, less than 2 minutes to walk around the pond and look behind a waterfall and see a stream of water coming down, the rocks and the dirt back behind the waterfall into the lawn. You didn't see that? Did you not look? Did you not even bother? That's what gets me upset. Because 9 times out of 10, that's what I find. And the water's leaking out right here. So what do you think? Okay, so what do? I go over, I move a couple rocks, I see the liner, I see the water coming over the liner. I lift the liner back up, push the rocks back up, and we're good. Right? Be involved in your pond. It's not that difficult. Okay? It just blows my mind sometimes. And like I said, the big thing is pushing the GFI, the reset button on an outlet because the pump's not working. I had a client that they live about 50 miles from me. All right? Every spring I go up and I drain and clean the pond. and in the fall I close it for them. I didn't build the pond. I was referred to them from another client of mine, whatever. They were a friend, whatever, okay? So we go up there one spring. We drain and clean the whole pond. I get everything running. They simply had a little skimmer with a little sump pump in the skimmer that fed around to a filter to the waterfall. Get everything up and running. It's beautiful. About a week and a half later, the lady calls me up and said, the pond's not running. I think we need a new pump. My husband went outside to try to fix it and he can't figure it out. All right, so I got to drive all the way up there, right? It's an hour. It's a good hour for me to get up there. I drive up there, I open up the skimmer, I put my hand down on the pump. There's no hum, there's no buzz, there's nothing. There's nothing. So I said, okay, so I went back to the outlet. I open up the outlet, it's plugged in. And I'm looking, the reset button's tripped. I push the reset button, away it goes, the waterfall's working, beautiful. Okay, so I call the lady up. I fixed your pond, your pump's running just fine. What'd you do? I pushed the reset button on your outlet. She says, you gotta be kidding me. My husband is useless. I said, no, he's not. He can write me a check for $75 for coming up here to do that. You know, it's like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Look, see what's going on. Try to figure it out. It just, again, it blows my mind where people are so concerned about their ponds. They're so worried about their fish dying. Springtime, okay? Springtime, I'm opening ponds. People call me, you gotta come open my pond. It's getting warm outside. I don't want my fish to die. All right. I go over there, they have the net over the pond from the winter, and it's covered in leaves. I don't even see 2/3 of the water surface of the pond because it's just covered in leaves and debris from all winter, and they don't want their fish to die. Are you kidding me? You can't clean that off? You can't like do anything to help your pond? You're so worried about your fish are going to die because the weather is getting warmer, yet you have 6 inches of leaves on the top of your net, pond netting? It's so frustrating, okay, when I see this stuff. You know, take care of your pond. It's like, it's yours. It's not mine, okay? I mean, you know, the more you do, the more you're involved, the more you understand, the more successful you're going to be. And it's enjoyable. It can be a really enjoyable thing if you go out and spend some time and put some effort into it. Don't just look out the window and say, my pond's not running, my waterfall's not running, I got to call Chris. Because 9 times out of 10, it's something really stupid, something really simple, really easy that you can go out there and take care of. All right? You know, anyway, all right, I think I've ranted long enough here. I've given you guys some examples. Try to encourage you, you know, to be involved with your pond and be active. And believe me, for, you know, as I tell you these stories about people that, you know, don't do anything with their ponds, but are so concerned about it. Believe me, they're far and few in between. The majority of my clients love their ponds and are outside there every day and are feeding their fish and, you know, really try to maintain it and take care of it. And, you know, it's great. So, all right. So thank you very much for watching. I hope I didn't bore you too much. Just my little way to vent here a little bit. You know, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and please check out all my other videos. And, you know, hopefully you can find some more stuff on here that you'd be interested in, and it can help you out and give you some helpful information. So thanks a lot for watching. Take care. We'll see you back soon. Bye.